Joining me this evening on Headlines Tonight to discuss and debate this, Editor Strategic Affairs Gaurav Sawant is with me. Also with us is Major General D Bakshi, former General Officer Commanding of the Romeo Force deployed in Rajouri area of Jammu and Kashmir, and Professor Kamal Mitra Chenoy. He's a professor at the JNU School of International Studies and also now a member of the Aam Aadmi Party. General Bakshi, if I could come to you first, what goes through your mind when you hear about this? Because it's not just about austerity, which by itself, is a noble ideal at in times like these when wanting to economize is seen as a good thing, as a prudent thing. But for people at the line of control, General Bakshi?
It is criminal. I mean, it is outrageous. I have served in those areas, and what you are signing is the death warrant of some of our boys. What you are signing is that a lot of them will get chilblains and cold injuries. You know, they tried like hell to get us off the Siachen glacier.
Yes.
And when the army said, no, we will stick to our stand, we will not leave those heights because we've sacrificed so much. So many of our boys have been killed. And now, I think this is the Babu's revenge. You want to get us off the glacier this way? Is this sabotage? Is this national sabotage? I mean, what else is this? Somebody's gone off his rocker. Anybody who has signed this ridiculous order has no clue of what goes on in those areas. You know,
yes.
In Mr. George Fernandez's time, some of these babus who had not passed the snow scooters in time, Mr. George Fernandez did a beautiful thing. He asked them to go and spend a week in the glacier.
Yes, he did.
I think the guy who signed this order needs to be sent to the Siachen.
I just want to remind our viewers that the general on your screen who's talking has been deployed there. He's commanded men in Rajouri area, and he's in a position to actually tell you what life is like in those particular areas. General Bakshi, stay with me. I want to get in Professor Chenoy, who's been, you've seen him on our channel before for some pretty inflammatory, controversial things he's said on Twitter about Jammu and Kashmir, which have been interpreted variously as being seditious also. But we want to get his views on this particular subject at this point. Professor Chenoy, what do you think about this? The government, that is constantly criticized for not taking any decisions whatsoever as far as personal austerity, in the seats of power are concerned, are busy chipping away at what are seen as essential services for our soldiers and guardians on the frontiers. You're from the National Defence Academy. Surely you understand this.
Look, I have complete sympathy with General Bakshi. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot watch and control a line of control which can break at any time.
Yes.
And we should have learned this in Kargil. We withdrew our troops, the Pakistanis came in, and we had a devil of a fight. Now, as far as austerity goes, there are other ways you can use austerity.
Yes.
You cannot have austerity at the cost of defense.
Yes.
So while I am completely with the government if they have austerity, then for example the junket on which the Samajwadi Party people are on now, and other things, you reduce stuff from things which are not important.
Yes.
Instead of not very important reasons for removing the troops. It makes no sense.
Gaurav, what has compelled the government to, touch upon this very sensitive area at this time? At a time when it is being pilloried in the media and in the public imagination, for all kinds of opulence and arrogance, like Professor Chenoy was saying, the Samajwadi Party and even the government here and in other states, what would compel such a senseless circular and directive being put out?
Well, the defense budget, 80% of the defense budget, the revenue budget is going in paying salaries, pension, travel, all of that. Now the government wants to bring the defense spending down. You've raised a new mountain core. You need money for that. The government, in its wisdom, is trying to cut costs. Now, cutting costs, nobody can have any argument. You need to cut costs.
Yes.
But clearly, you cannot cut costs at the line of control where your jawans are fighting an extremely hostile Pakistan. We've had an incident in Keran. Even after the DGMO level talks, you've had an exchange at the line of control. You have a hostile Pakistan. You have hostile terrorists. You have a hostile weather. And now you have an administration that tells you that your kerosene is going to be restricted, that you cannot take porters and ponies to the line of control because there are no funds that have been sanctioned. And this is not money that is given arbitrarily. This money is sanctioned well in advance. That money in some areas has already been spent.
Yes.
I have accessed some letters that very clearly indicate that after money has been spent, government is saying there is no money to spend. So you withdraw porters and you put 50% cut on kerosene. So this is bizarre, and the government needs to explain this.